We're back at Poker House. We're playing 1-2, $500 max, and we're playing a special game. The worst hand in poker, 7 deuce. If you win with it, everyone at the table has to pay you $10. All these videos you're about to see are my last sessions at Poker House because sadly, they got shut down recently. So wish me luck and let's get into the hands. The first hand we look down at, we have ace of diamonds, 10 of clubs. There's a straddle for $5, there's a raise to 20 from undergun +1, and then there's a 3-bet from 0 to $60 and then a caller in between. It folds to us in the big blind. So we can complete action here and let the straddler come along, or we could turn our hand into a massive bluff. This specific hand, ace 10 offsuit, I think plays better as a 4-bet or fold here. We may be on a live stream and be putting on a show for this hand, but I would be doing this sometimes in the same scenario on a regular public poker table. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put our entire stack in the middle for max fold equity. The only person we're going to worry about is Z-rolled. If he's at the top of his range, nice hand, but we came here to play and battle. So we decided to put our entire stack in the middle, $500, and it gets the job done. Everyone folds, and if you guys notice, Z-World had 7 deuce offsuit. He was trying to get that bounty pre-flop, but we take down a $150 pot uncontested for free. In this next hand, we're in early position with ace of spades, jack of clubs, and we raise up to $15. There's a caller to my left, and then Z-World on the button decides to 3-bet to $50. Ace Jack, just like Ace 10, I think plays better as a 4-bet or fold. We don't want to call and be up against a bigger ace like Ace Queen, Ace King. And the caller to our left could have a hand like Ace Queen offsuit, which has us dominated. Since we're on the live stream, we're going to put the pedal to the metal and we're going to put a 4-bet in, and it's going to be a chunky one. Out of position with a caller in between, we're going to make it around 4x the size of the raise, so we make it $210. We get a fold from the caller in between us, but Zero doesn't take too long to put in the call. When he does this, I'm capping him at medium pocket pairs, 8s, 9s, 10s, sometimes pocket jacks. We're heads up going to a flop with around $438 in the middle. It comes 6, 6, 8, 2 hearts. We have absolutely nothing. But in a 4-bet pot, I could have many good hands like aces, kings, and queens, and sometimes ace, king of hearts. So if I had those hands, I would bet around $100, which is 1/4 the size of the pot. And when we put this bet in, it doesn't take Zero too long to call. And when he does this, I think he still has a medium pocket pair. The turn is the 7 of clubs. Not a great card. 9-10 now gets there, but that's the last hand I'm guessing he's going to have. And he's been playing his hand like a high pocket pair, and we've been playing our hand like the highest of all pocket pairs, like aces, kings. So if I did have that hand, I would be going for value here. So we're going to put our entire stack in the middle, $322, and it does not take Zero too long to call. He throws up a peace sign, and this isn't him saying goodbye. This is him saying he wants to run it twice, and I say only once. Because we're on the live stream, I'm interested in max pain. So we run it once, and guess what hits the river, guys? We are the luck box. It is the ace of hearts. That's poker for you. If you're willing to put your entire stack in, you have to be willing to get rivered. And I guess today was just our day to hit the river. We scoop a $1,200 pot coming our direction. Here comes a spicy hand. We've only been raising premium hands with Showdown, and now we have a 3-bet bluff. And the reason why we want to mix in hands like these, 8-5 of diamonds, the reason being this, we want to be unpredictable so that people don't know what kind of hands we have going to any sort of board texture. So folds to us in the big blind, we have 8-5 of diamonds. There's a triple straddle on, so it goes 5, 10, 20. We're going to raise this big out of position. We make it 75. They could have numerous amount of hands that can just fold to this bet size because we're representing the top of our range. But our squeeze play does not pan out correctly. Andrew and Giljack Poker both call. You guys should check out Giljack Poker's channel. The link's in my bio. The dude is crushing it at the age of 18. I think he's better than 95% of the entire poker community. The dude's a crusher, so if you guys want to learn just like I did, you guys should go watch some of his content. This is why people straddle, is so that pots get big very fast. We're going to a flop, and we're only going to connect with very certain boards, and we got lucky with this one. It comes 10-9 jack, 2 diamonds. We have a flush and open-ended straight draw. We're sitting with only 8 high, but so much equity, so the last thing I want to do is bet into 2 players and give them a good price to hit their cards. So our plan is to check raise. So now it's time to lay the trap. We check, but sadly, it checks all the way through, and we go to a turn, which is a decent one. It's the queen. The downside of this card is that we get beat by any king that has a higher straight. So what do we do here? After thinking about the whole hand, I was an original raiser pre-flop, so I have the most kings in my range. So we're going to bet small here and make it look like value. So we're going to put $70 out for value and almost like a blocker bet because we want to hit our diamond and get paid by other straights. And if we do get raised, we might be able to find the fold here, especially with the low end of the straight. So we bet $55 for value and sort of like a blocker to hit our diamond draw. That gets Andrew out of the pot, but giljack comes along. Maybe he has two pair like jack 10, queen 9, and then the river comes the 9 of hearts. I'm not sure what we're targeting here, but we do something kind of odd. I think we should just check call here instead of leading out, because if we get raised, we might be forced to fold our low end of the straight. We decided to make it $70. So we put out the $70 value size bet, and Gil's kind of confused at what I'm trying to do here because I normally bet big against him, and since we're betting small, he might feel like it's for value, but he eventually puts in the chips, and we end up chopping with another 8. He had jack 8. So I wanted to share this hand so we can shout out giljack, and we split around $80 going between both of us. So nice hand, man. All right, this hand is wild. We are on the quadruple straddle. We've put out $40 in the middle, and it folds to the button. This guy's name is Nitty, and he raises it up to $120. It folds back to us, and we peel king, queen of hearts, a premium hand. In my mind, this $120 raise doesn't feel like a squeeze, but more of like, I'm ready to see a flop with a good hand. So we're going to slow play this. I don't want to raise every connected Broadway hand because it plays so well on flops. And I know that we're out of position here, but our opponent feels very strong. So we're going to give him some respect and not re-raise him. So we're going to go to a flop, which comes ace high, ace of hearts, 9 of diamonds, 8 of clubs. So we're going to check back to our opponent. This is not good for us. We don't have an ace. He most likely has an ace. So when he bets 75, a very small bet, I don't think there's any reason for us to call when he only has around $400 left behind. We don't want to value own ourselves and just get sticky with king high. Just not moves I've been trying to make lately. When I used to do it in the past, I used to punt hard. And then when we fold our cards, Nitty decides to flip over his hand. We're ready for a premium, but no. He has 4 3 of diamonds, a pure bluff, a horrible hand that played very well as a squeeze. So good job to him, but we're going to get our revenge. Just you wait. And guys, don't forget to join and subscribe to my poker journey. The goal for these videos is to progress because I love the game of poker and I want to see where it takes me through content creation. So join the family. I'd appreciate it a lot. Another huge pot coming your way. There's a $40 straddle on again. It folds to the small blind. His name is Hypocrisy. He has not been very active this game, and he decides to raise to 125. He's out of position, and I think he's on the top of his range when he raises here. I think he would have more incentive to call if he had a medium strength hand. So with pocket 9s, I think the best move here is to call and try to fade overcards. So we put in the $120, and Andrew, the second straddle, decides to come along. So now we're going 3 ways to a pot that has around $400 in the middle, and it comes 6, 3, 10 rainbow. It's on the small blind, the original raiser, and he decides to go all in for nearly the size of the pot, $420. Now, if he had pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket jacks, all these overpairs, why would you want to shove your entire stack in the middle? There are some instances where opponents will do this just because they're scared of draws getting there, but this is a dry board. Now, if we do want to put in $400 with second pair, we do have to worry about Andrew, who's to our left. The only hands he'd be willing to call with would be ace 10, and even that would be put in a bad spot because it looks like we have pocket jacks and Hypocrisy has pocket aces. Andrew has been rather active and splashy, so I think this might be a safe call for us. We just have to break down this hand and see what we beat. My gut is telling me this is ace-queen or ace-king suited of some sort, and maybe they have backdoor equity and 2 over, so they're just going to go with their hand and make it look like pocket aces. After a minute of thinking, we decide to put in the call, and luckily Andrew folds. We show the pocket 9s, and we're going to run it twice. So now we're going to 2 boards with second pair versus ace-king. We need to dodge a king or an ace. On the first board, it comes a 7, and then the river is a deuce, and we hold. The second board comes a king on the turn, and the river is the queen, so we're going to chop this up. We made a little bit in this pot, but Zero did mention after this, why didn't you run it twice with me? Normally, the way I like to play an all-in pot and running the board is whoever's all in gets to decide. What do you guys normally do? Do you run it twice? Do you run it once? I think because Hypocrisy was the original all-in, he should decide whether to run it once or twice. All right, this next one is an interesting one. I'm not sure if it's good. I'm not sure if it's bad, but I thought it was the right play in the moment. We looked down at ace jack of diamonds. There's a $5 and $10 straddle on, so we're going to limp this, and the goal is to limp raise it. So we get a call from Andrew, and then it's on giljack, our best friend and our nemesis of this vlog. He's on the button. He makes it $65, and now it folds back around to us. With so many callers in between, normally I would go 4.5x, but we end up finding a 5x sizing. We make it $285. We're playing very deep due to how many people we've stacked this session, because Gil has a decent amount behind, and we're okay with getting it all in here. Our hand looks very strong, but in Gil's eyes, we're going to look very, very weak. So the limp raise is $285. It folds to jack, and he thinks about it for a very long time. And guess what he decides to do? He goes all in. The graphics are wrong. He has around $300 behind, so the shove is around $600 total. The moment he goes all in, we snap call him because we feel like we're on the top of our range for our limp raise when he might think we're much, much wider. And then we find out we're up against ace 10 offsuit, and now we're going to a board with over $1,000 in the middle. If you listen to the live stream, you'll hear a dying whale.
This is a product of them knowing each other so well against some blocks.
That's actually Gil, and this is what he sounds like when he's behind on a huge all-in pot. The flop comes 995 rainbow. This looks great. We're trying to dodge a 5 for a chop. The turn is the 4 of spades. We have to worry about a flush draw, and the river is the 8 of diamonds. We're scooping a $1,000 pot again coming our direction. We are running way too hot, and sorry, Gil, to take your money. I know you think I'm terrible, but I mean, I'm the guy who pays you the most, right? Jesus, what a hand, what a hand. Huge props to Gil for finding the 4-bet all-in. I think that is such a strong play on his part, and my hand was just a little bit better than his, and maybe my snap call is not as good as you think it is. This is the last hand of the live stream, and then you get a POV of the end of the session. It's a wild one, so get ready. Nitty's the guy who bluffed me with 4-3 of diamonds at the beginning of the vlog, and he decides to raise it up to $120. Everybody folds, and now it's back on me. We peel 7-6 of clubs on the under the gun straddle. With players behind and knowing how wide Nitty might be on the button, we're going to turn our hand into a bluff, and we're going to 3-bet this. We have a lot behind, and if he goes all in, I think we're okay with gambling here on the live stream, so we put in the 3-bet, and we make it $410. The reason why we went a little bit bigger for this 4-bet is because there's other straddlers behind, and we don't want to give him a good price to call, and then give Nitty a good price to call, because live stream action is crazy. Now, this move is strictly for leveling and letting him know that you can't push me around, especially after showing a bluff on the previous hand that we were involved in. He goes into the tank for a long time, and he finally says out loud, I actually have a bad hand, but I want to call so bad, which is the best feeling in the world, because you know if someone's saying that, they're essentially never going to call because their hand's pretty face up. So Nitty puts in the fold, and we are so proud to show our last hand here on the live stream. 7-6 of clubs, baby. We got the sick 3-bet through, and we got our revenge. It feels so good. When the live stream ended, we were up a few $100s, but we still have to battle after that. We get our camera, we set it up, the stream ends, and now it's time to battle from our point of view. This is about an hour after the live stream. We've lost a few pots, so we're down around $300 total on the day, and the first hand we look down at is pocket threes. Regis, one of the well-known players here at Poker House, raises it to 40. The guy in the small blind calls, and I complete, and we're going 3 ways to a flop. The flop comes ace 3 5. We have bottom set. Both the small blind and I check to Regis, and he bets out $80, and we both call. The turn is the jack of clubs. We're hoping Regis continues his aggression, so we both check to him, but sadly he checks back. The small blind checks, and now it's on me. What size can we get the most value out of both players here? The small blind only has 50 behind, and Regis obviously has the entire table covered because this dude's been running hot. We find a value size of 1/3 of the pot. We make it $100, and both of them call. We show them the set, and we scoop a $600 pot. What a great feeling. On to the next. There's a $6 straddle on, and we're going to raise it up to $20 with king jack offsuit under the gun +2. Then one of our friends, Brad, decides to 3-bet us to $60. Regis calls out of the small blind, which he does with nearly every hand, and I decide to complete as well, getting a good price. Going multi-way, the flop comes king, queen, 8, 2 spades. We have top pair. We check to the aggressor. He bets 125, a chunky bet. Regis folds, and now it's back on me, and I think this is just a mandatory call, and we're going to figure out what to do on the next street. The turn is the 3 of hearts, and this changes absolutely nothing. And I check, and Brad decides to check it back as well. So now we're feeling pretty confident that we're going to win this hand, and we're going to feel even better when the river is the king of diamonds. There's no reason for us to go too large here. We're trying to target a queen. We decided to bet $80, but he snap calls, and we win with trip kings. He doesn't show what he has, but this is another $600 pot coming our direction. This is the momentum we needed for this game because we bought in a couple times, and we're in for around $1,500 right now. This is the last hand I caught before my camera died. We have ace 10 of spades in the big blind. There's a $6 straddle on and 1 caller, and we're going to raise it up to $35, and Mr. Regis calls. So we're going heads up to a flop, and it comes 10-8-4 all hearts. All hearts is pretty sketchy, but I do want to deny and charge single heart holding hands like, you know, ace jack offsuit or king of hearts with a queen kicker. I want to deny the hands such as like ace X with hearts. So we're going to bet pretty large on this board. We bet $50, and Regis makes the call. With 170 in the middle, the turn is the ace of clubs, so we now have top 2 pair. I check, and Regis checks back. The river is the 6 of spades, so this changes absolutely nothing. Maybe some weird straight got there, but I'm not going to worry about that. I bet 175 for value, and then Mr. Regis does something appalling. He raises it to $500. Looking at this right now, this feels like a snap fold, but we know Mr. Regis is capable of big bluffs because I know that he makes a lot of money, and money's not really a big deal for him, but it is for me. And we're in the tank, and we're trying to figure out what hand checks the flop and then raises the river. Maybe he's got a sneaky flush that we just didn't know that he flopped. So after a long think, maybe he just thinks we have top pair and wants us to fold that. Not too much thought went into this, but I just felt like he was more leaning towards a bluff than he was for value. So we put in the call, and he has queen 4 of hearts. We lose a $1,000 pot, and it's going towards Mr. Regis. It's been very important for me to share the wins and the losses. I know that this vlog felt like a big win, but we did lose around $1,000. This 1-3 game ran very deep into the night, nearly till 4 a.m., and we were in the game for around $2,700, and we only lost $1,000, luckily winning a big pot at the end. But our phone was dead, and we couldn't film any of the session. And earlier that day before the stream, we lost $500, so we lost $1,500 on the day. But we're still battling back. On to the next vlog. Thank you for participating. Thanks for staying till the end. Hope to see you guys in the next one.